Okay, it's May 20th, 2026, and this is our third meeting, I believe, of the day. Conference committee. Third meeting of conference committee of Senate and House institutions and corrections. And I want to share the proposal for our last conversation, which was the House tied together the stormwater utility with the sale of 110. And so you'll obviously my suggestions or requests or conditions relate to the preservation of that structure. So first one is sale at a minimum of fair market value. Second one is to include interior and exterior protection covenants per the historic preservation officer. Three is to provide the sales contract to the chairs of House and Senate institutions prior to the closing. This is not giving us any authority, it's just providing the sales contract before it's completed. And then a right of first refusal for the state to repurchase the property in case the future owner wants to sell the property. The state would have the right of first refusal and I'm not proposing any sort of requirements for price or anything like that. And then obviously the stormwater utility language.
So,
And I do need to check with leadership. Just, I don't anticipate an issue, but it would be irresponsible if we did.
so selling at fair market value, then it needs to include the interior exterior covenants for historic preservation.
Yes, and per the historic preservation officer.
Right. And then sales contracts would be shown to the chairs prior to
The closing.
closing. Big chairs, I don't know, can you do that?
No, so I'll let you finish and
And then the right of first refusal in repurchasing the building if it goes back.
Correct.
I just want to weigh in on that one, the sales.
so
contracts.
once we, if I may, Madam.
Of course, yes.
Yes, thank you. Wanda Minelli, Commissioner of Buildings and General Services for the record. So even with, we put projects out to bid, that information's public. So what I'm hearing you say is in that bid, we're gonna have to be very specific about the proposed covenants and agreements. Once we receive bids, they are they're not public documents until we sign a letter of intent. So providing you the contract, I'll be fine with, but it's a done deal. And in the sense and you're not, it's, it might be, I guess we can provide the contract, but really is it sharing with you the proposal of what we're putting out to bid with those covenants? Because that's what you want to see, correct?
I want to see what is going to be enacted.
And that would be in what we actually scope out to give to brokers or to provide it.
Right.
Is that the sale of this property will include this covenant, this covenant, this covenant. It will say shall include this covenant. So, because so to answer your question, I'm concerned about us providing you contracts.
Well, the reason I'm asking this is currently right now you're in negotiations with a developer for the juvenile facility. We can't get that information because that's not public information.
That's correct. That's where I'm going. So I was trying to find an alternative.
While it's in flux, we can't get the information.
So you're saying
You want the signed agreement.
Correct.
Oh, okay, then that's fine.
But before it's executed.
No,
Can't do that.
you can't, that's what we're saying.
Executed, at the time it becomes public. Up to that point, it's not
It's
public.
confidential. But we can put, and that's public records and that's, and that's
So it becomes a public record
after it signs.
And the sale is.
And it's fine, but that's why I was saying, do we share, because you want to see what we're going to actually include for the sale. That's, I'm trying to get
Right.
to the same place, the same information that you're looking for, Senator, but in an earlier step.
It would be helpful to have the conditions as you're presenting them to potential buyers, yes.
Yeah. But I
Um,
cannot, I can provide you a signed contract, I cannot share with you.
You can provide us the RFP that you go out to.
But
bid.
that's what I'm saying, that
And that's
has
the information that you want in terms of what is, is it the price of the building or is it all the conditions?
it's both, and we won't know for sure both until there is a sales agreement. So if it's not possible to give us the sales contract before it's entered into, then we get it after you've entered into it.
and that's fine.
But I want to verify with the other
Yeah.
attorney that that's.
I mean, it's public at that point. That's why I was thinking, if you're trying to just get an overview of what are the specific covenants or conditions that would be placing
Right.
on the sales, it would be that we would provide you those documents prior to going out to prior to advertising it for your review, because that's the point of where you. I'm
Yes.
trying to
No,
get to where you're trying to get.
thank you. It does make sense to include like the protection covenants to have that come to our committees. That makes sense, but I also, I think it's necessary that we get as soon as early as possible, the actual agreement.
Yeah, so once there's the signed contract and we have a final sale, then of course.
And then can the legislature say, we're not going forward? with
No.
the sale?
It's a signed agreement, it's a signed sales agreement.
Right. And I wasn't anticipating that we would block the sale, but I would prefer, if it's legal, to see the actual sales contract before it's executed.
And I think the RFP is going to include the same information that you're assigning with the contract.
Yeah,
And that's, and as commissioner and knowing how our process works, we don't change what's in an RFP to the sale. We put the covenants in, it says, you will sell it, it shall have this. They don't get to negotiate that out on the sale. So, but I understand what you're saying. I know we can't provide the contract prior. And the other thing, you're saying include the interior and exteriors. I think that is in statute, so you may want to reference the statute in addition to that language.
Okay,
And
that's fine.
I think it's, why do I keep Title 22? The 700, it's 743 and maybe some other sections.
So, Brian, did you-
Yeah, Sandra, I had just a question on that. So the third stipulation is about the sales contract, and as I'm understanding it from you, that is to make sure that the first two stipulations have been met, the first of which is the minimum fair market value, the second of which is the interior and exterior, right?
It's not just for that. It's just because there could be other items of interest.
But in order to provide oversight, those sorts of things are met, right?
Right.
And so if we were to then see the RFP when it goes out, and if we were then to see the contract as soon as it's closed, does that not provide the oversight necessary?
No, because what's important also is the buyer. And there's other things. I mean, they can get complicated pretty fast. So I think it's important that.
But I mean, I guess that's what I'm asking, like, what are the other parts that I'm missing? Is it the buyer? Is it?
Well, the buyer's one. I mean, we don't know the buyer until there's a
Until the
contract,
is
and
signed.
that's why, well, yes, in personal real estate, there's a contract. And then the closing is sometimes 2 months away or more. So, that contract that has been signed, that tells you what's gonna happen. And so that's what I would prefer to see, but I'm hearing that we can't. But that's what I would prefer to see, because that's a complete contract.
You want to see the
Because there could be a-
contract before it's signed.
Exactly. Right.
We're not allowed to.
Well, and that's kind of interesting too. I don't know why we aren't allowed to.
You said you wanted to be provided the contract to ensure those pieces were in there. It's not to manage it or to see who's getting it. So
Yeah,
I'm trying to get to the place that you are to see if there's a solution. But, so we preserve those private rights. I want to say we are required to bid or to go to brokers. We are required to accept all. We can't just pick one person, and say, we want to offer you this property. Our statute under BGS is very, very clear. So if there's any thinking that there's already a perceived buyer or we're negotiating with someone, we can't do that under the authority. And now that you're removing the notwithstanding, we have to follow the letter of the law to the T. Sometimes we advertise, sometimes we go to brokers, sometimes we do a combination of both. All of those responses are protected under the public records, and we go through them and we evaluate them. And, and we are supposed to give it to the highest bidder within fair market value. That's the other piece. And then the other conditions would be the covenants. So I'm just trying to say, I believe that we are acting in really good faith, and in light of it, I'm trying to figure out what we're missing so I can help the committee bring this to closure.
okay, well, my intent is pretty clear, I think. So does
Your
your,
intent is wanting to know what's in that contract before it's signed.
yes, that's one of my intents, yes. I mean, for example, like not having the, the covenants are critical.
That's a question. Can you share a draft contract, not with anybody's name on it? Here's a draft contract. This is what, in which.
I can share with you some sales contracts that we've had, but all of them, because there might be a covenant or it might be a notwithstanding, right? They all have different pieces. So, a land sale might be different than a building. So I could.
What I was thinking on this is the RFP lays out all of the conditions.
That's correct, sir.
And I assume that you work with certain templates for your actual sales agreement.
To a certain degree, yes, I think that's
Yeah,
fair.
no,
That's fair.
Here's kind of our template. Here's the RFP. It has all of the things you're looking for. And then when the sale is actually executed, that you could then provide a copy of the actual executed document, because then it's public.
Yeah, and I think so. I think we're sort of
Right.
But I think what you want to see is before it's signed.
Well, that's why I'm trying to look at the RFP having all of the conditions in it,
Which is
and a
like-
template of the kind of draft contract. So the final contract may be slightly different, but it's basically, this is the format of our contract, if you follow where.
no, I think, but we're kind of saying the same.
Yeah, it is, but, yeah, the RFP and the conditions and the sales advertisement, those are all good things. But the actual contract itself,
You won't see till it's
Till-
actually, it's
right.
what I'm saying.
that's what I'm understanding. So if that is all that we can see, then that's
Yeah.
what I would want in this list.
After it's signed.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, and when you say sign, it sounds as if the
Executed,
funding,
executed.
right, well, executed is signed,
Ex-
but then also there's the money transfer. So that would probably have happened. So
You wanna see it.
And then all of the money from the sale, it's in statute,
comes
is
to the capital.
redirected back to the capital bill.
I
So
saw this.
Yeah, so
And I
you're
didn't
going
put
to,
that on the list, but.
but, well,
they
you're
have
gonna see,
to
it's,
comment.
I mean, you haven't amended it, and it's
Good.
long-standing language, as it's been a long-standing.
Right, we had
practice.
just the
Yeah.
last couple of years, yeah.
Yep.
A couple.
Can I ask just one clarifying question? The commissioner mentioned that we're getting rid of the notwithstanding, which isn't what I had heard, but are we striking notwithstanding 29 VSA?
Yeah, we got.
And I was saying to you all that if you remove the notwithstanding, every
Yeah.
piece of property statute
Yeah.
is applicable. The notwithstanding that you had in before made it
Yeah,
really
so-
squiggly that I didn't have to do this.
So it had sold the
So it
highest bidder
tightens it up.
It tightened it up.
or upon sealed bid. So it'd have to be the highest bidder. Ultimately, if it turned out to not be the highest bidder,
And if
then it would be a violation of the statute.
that's correct, sir.
Presumably, maybe, I don't know.
And if
Be a
you
board
don't
on.
get a fair market value, I can reject them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get rid of the notwithstanding, you sell it at fair market value, you make sure the covenants are there
Absolutely.
when you advertise with the RFP.
When we develop the scope of the sale, yeah.
Yeah.
So would the RFP include the fair market value?
No, but what I would say first of all is you don't assume it's an RFP. Because sometimes we put scopes of projects together
With the
that go
advertising?
right to the broker, who then goes out and markets it
Markets
for
it.
us.
Okay, so whatever vehicle you use
You want the
to
background.
sell, would that include the fair market value?
We will have, we will determine the fair market value. I don't know if it's included or not, but it is definitely the tool for our evaluation. And then, and so, and let me just share with you, just back to the Senator Benson's. You have a property that has a fair market value, right? And then someone, and you get bids on it, and then they do site assessments. This is the real world, I think all of you know this, and there's contamination.
Mhm.
So, you start with the point that you're talking about, your letter of intent or whatever it is, because then they're coming back and they're gonna say, we just identified contamination and we wanna go back and figure out who's gonna pay for what's gonna do. That does lower, to your point, Senator, the sales price. But if you're gonna, but you evaluate those scenarios at that time. So I just, not to convolute it, but I think all of you know property transactions and the detail they're detailed.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you put some very, very good parameters in statute on what we have to do. And I think we have been successful. I don't think BGS has, well, we haven't sold that, but what we've sold, I think everything's been in alignment with statute, and I think you can expect that.
Okay, so I don't think this needs to be in the list, I hope, because it sounds like it's gonna be something public. But the fair market value, we would like to know that in advance. I mean, that's, you would be
I mean,
determining that. Or, so let me ask you a question. At what point in your process do you determine the fair market value? Because I would think you
we would
want
do it before we advertise.
Yeah.
And we would do it before we put it out, and and I think we still have a little bit of time, a little bit of ways to go on this particular project. And I think we've talked about it several times regarding what are we gonna have to do with FEMA? How do we prepare the building? What is the impact of that? What does that look like? So yes, all of that information, yes, but exactly when, I'm not sure, because do we do it today or do we do, because right now, the fair market value is gonna be this.
I would do it later than today. So, is that public information?
The fair market value,
Yes.
I,
I mean, do I need to put it in the list?
no.
Okay, good. That's just wanted to check.
And so I apologize to the committee. I really trust my organization and I trust the statute. And I feel like you feel like we're doing something that we're not gonna do, and that is a little uncomfortable, Madam Chair. So if there's something that you're concerned about, I would like to address it.
Okay, this information addresses it.
Okay.
So I'm not clear, where are we? We're not doing. The chairs being notified of the final contract before it's signed.
It looks like it's going to be different language.
Right.
But I'll ask the attorney.
John.
Yes,
right,
yes.
Do we in concept support what is being proposed?
I do have one more question about the first refusal. I think it was point number 4.
Right.
I don't know enough about how that works. And so let's say we do sell it to some outside entity and we then, I suppose, would have first refusal if they chose to resell it. How far into perpetuity does that go, right? They resell it. So, right.
That's a good question.
To go.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna ask more about the process, because normally you would, it's not intended to be that the state would have a benefit or be able to get it at a lower price. If,
Right.
The state would have to pay fair market value.
Yes.
So that's the intent.
Okay.
But it's just to give the state a chance to get that property back, because it is.
And then say we
Just
pass
for
on that and it goes to somebody else and it's
Yeah.
the second owner after us. There's no more right of first.
Oh, no,
refusal.
it's just that one.
That first
Yeah.
one,
Just the
could be
first
50
one.
years.
But that's
Probably an obvious
that's
question.
an interesting idea, but I don't think it can be.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Good question.
Yeah.
Do you want to weigh in on that?
No, no.
So
No, I
there's
won't
no-
be here negotiating it.
No.
I'm
Be the
so-
first sale, when that building becomes on the market for the first time, the
Yeah.
state would have the right of first refusal.
Yes.
So it could be 30 years down the road.
Well, and do you, the commissioner, have an opinion on how that could affect things?
I
Well,
mean,
that would
it's,
be around-
and I can't, I'm
I'm
not
talking about
aware
the
that it's
future.
ever been done. I mean, usually our inventory is, there's, a need, so, we've actually, it's always been the opposite. The state buys property, to a lot of property that we bought was to save something in a community or whatever, so. I can't think of anything. I can't speak on behalf of the administration because I haven't talked to them about this. I don't know what it means to obligate future purchases, but I'll let you all work with your attorney on that.
Well, and the way that I would think it would happen would be the obligation would be on that owner,
Yes.
not on the state. So if the owner for some reason didn't tell the state, that would be their
I think
issue.
that would be written in the contract, wouldn't it?
Or it would be in the
The sale contract, wouldn't that be written in the sale contract?
I think seeing the language and giving us an opportunity to make sure it makes sense would probably be beneficial. But that, because I don't know if you could put that in a covenant or title, but really what it's saying is somehow you want the new owner to sell it to the state of Vermont. If they're gonna sell it, they have to sell it to the state of Vermont prior to putting it out into the market. And I think you need to get guidance on that.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't put that, well, where would the owner know that?
Yeah, it would need to be in the contract. It would need to be obvious. You would probably have a separate piece of paper that they would have to sign.
Well, and here again, lack of knowledge, but having that sort of a rider on the contract, does that affect in any way what we?
Fair market value
What
would
would
be,
we
I
ask
don't know,
for
sir.
the property, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know strategically that would hurt us, but
What's what is look at their market value? Maybe a different. So I think this is gonna take more work in terms of legal background. What I would propose is we talk to our legal counsel about this.
And I'd like,
And you talk to your legal counsel, we come back first thing tomorrow.
I'm gonna have to have something. I mean, will there be some draft language that we could work from to at least look at? I mean, I can try it. First of all, I'm not gonna get a hold of anyone.
It'll be tomorrow morning. But I think we all need some legal advice
Yeah.
here on this.
Yeah.
And I want to be open as possible, but I understand the confidentialities of when you're negotiating a contract, regardless of what that contract is.
Sure. Sure.
And for the state to, on a resale of a building, if the new owners put it up on market, and for the state to have the right of first refusal, I don't know if we've ever.
So it would be it would be at fair market value, right of first refusal, and you'd want that in the contract.
It's probably end up in the deed.
Or the deed, yeah. And that's where the covenants are too.
So if we go. Just trying to, I just think we need more legal backup
Yeah.
on both
No,
sides.
we do. Yeah, that's what,
We can reconvene. I mean, so if this gets accepted, where are you on the zeroing out the tech support? Stormwater. Because we
Um,
it out.
yeah, since we have time, I'd like to talk to Neil about this,
Oh, all
about
right.
what he said, but, that's less, valuable to me than the language.
Okay. So I think that's as far as we can go tonight,
Okay.
right? So, well, we gotta talk to legal.
Okay, it's gonna be hard to find, so you have a 9:30, you have a 9, no, you have an 8 and a 9. Yeah,
And we're available.
Yeah.
can we do the afternoon?
Floor of 10.
I mean, we're on the floor at 10, so I don't
Yeah,
want
it's
to,
our-
I don't want to do 7.
So do
Well,
nine
we need
tomorrow.
legal counsel right now. They need to do.
So what we can do is I can be available and I can provide you the legal information and we can not make any decisions and then we can, get back.
Can legal counsel be here tomorrow? We need to work with us to get it written. So
But Rob isn't able to be here.
What time can you not be? What time?
I have Elcar at 8, at 9, Ag's meeting pretty quickly. Meeting at 9 would make sense. I don't necessarily have to be here at the beginning.
Are you available?
I'm available at 9.
Can we get John
I have
Gray by
9:30.
9?
Oh, so between 9 and 9:30, you're okay.
Can
All
we-
right, that's fine. Yeah.
Can we get at least John Gray to talk to us?
I believe so, but we'll let him confirm.
And then,
I need to reach out. I'm not sure what it'll be, but
so we really need to figure that out. It's getting legal advice for both.
from all.
Right, no, and we should.
Yeah, I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to have that by
Right.
9.
But at least we might be able to have something.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
have enough to start asking some questions.
So why don't we
Okay,
shoot for 9 o'clock and then maybe before you go on the floor, maybe you could have a conversation with Dale, maybe at 8 or 8:30. On the AMR piece. So that-
yes, okay.
Because we've really gotta close this up and these are the only outstanding items.
Right, do you want to have a tentative for the afternoon or just we'll play that by ear?
Can we do 12:30?
We should be able
We are
to,
on the
as
floor.
long as we're done.
Yeah,
I mean,
we haven't finished.
Yeah, we don't-
41:30.
I'm gonna head out and see if I can.
I mean, the best thing to do is do it right at 1.
Okay, and then I'll be over.
yeah, we can aim for once. Yeah,
We don't know.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, John's the 9 tomorrow.
Yeah, so
He's
let's
okay?
get John.
Okay,
let's
good.
get John, yeah.
Definitely, so we'll be here at 9. And
And maybe you can connect with Dale.
I'll do my best and we are adjourned.